Hey, what's up? My name is Agent Psycho, aka ToeSniper98. It's been a while since I last made one of these, but since we got a new event on our hands, finally, decided to make this real quick since I'm sure most of you have already watched or read event guides for Guda 2, just to add on to whatever you already know. But for those who haven't watched anything else, and this is the first video that you're watching about the event, let's start with some super general overview stuff. Guda 2 is divided into two parts, Conquest and Post-Conquest. Conquest is where you just pick a faction, and you can only obtain ladder points for that faction. Once one side wins, everyone gets points for the winning faction, and Post-Conquest opens up so that everyone can farm points for the other faction that they didn't choose. Therefore, there are 2-point ladders instead of just one, like in Guda 1. They have different main quests and free quests, but since you need to do both ladders to be able to max level and MP5 Cha-Cha, you'll end up playing as both anyway. Unless you don't care about Cha-Cha, then in which case that's your problem. Pretty much don't worry about which faction you have to pick. This whole factions gimmick is just a fun little thing the devs decided to do to make this event a bit more interesting from the looks of it. So if you want to join one faction or another for whatever arbitrary or degenerate reason that you might have, go for it. But if you want an actual reason to pick one faction or the other, consider them from a materials standpoint. Oda has Lanugo and Hearts in the ladder, and Grease, Metals, Scarabs, Lamps, and Pages in its free quests, while Shinsengumi has Blood and Gallstones in the ladder, and Lanugo, Pages, Claws, Scales, Crystals, and Gears in its free quests. I'll personally be going for the Shinsengumi ladder first, probably, because it's got more mats that I like, so if there are particular mats that you need right away, consider joining the faction that you can farm those mats in. Let's move on to servants. Like Guda 1, Guda 2 also has event servants, but instead of point bonuses, they have straight up damage bonuses instead. Japanese John McClane, Nobu's niece, Foot Fetish, and Shana all have 100%. Redman, Home Run, Darth Saba, and AC/DC have 80%, and Best Doge, Best Sneck, Knifey Bitch, AC/DC's Management Agency, and Degenerate all have 50%. The enemies for pretty much the entire event are mostly sabers for the Shinsengumi side and archers for the Oda side, which makes sense considering who the factions are representing. But there are a few assassins and casters here and there on the Oda side, and some nodes are stacked with riders on the Shinsengumi side. Because of this, your MVP servants and or support servants are likely going to be Tesla, Hijikata, MHXA, and maybe Cha-Cha if you can get her leveled quickly enough. Because of the rider nodes, you'll also want to have MHX ready to deal with them when the time comes, but Hijikata, Cha-Cha, and MHXA can also handle them just as well because of their damage bonuses. For CEs, there are 3 types of them in Guda 2, Shop, Ladder, and Gacha. The Shop CE is basically Gudao from Guda 1. You equip it onto your servants and it'll boost ladder point drops for both factions. The Ladder CEs are party damage boosts, so think Hot Springs from Onigashima and Star of Artoria from Sabo Wars or the like. So for those of you who've started playing FGO recently, or you just don't have a lot of event servants properly leveled, the Ladder CEs should help quite a bit. And the Gacha Cs are your event standard shop currency boosting Cs. So your event support setup should look something like this for the Conquest phase. Your Archer should be Tesla with the 5-star Gacha CE, and if you don't have Tesla, then Nobu is your next best option, followed by Emiya. Your Lancer should be Lancer Artoria with the 5-star Gacha CE, followed by any good farming Lance that you have, since we don't have any event Lancers, and your Assassin should be MHX with either the 4 or 5-star Gacha CE, followed by any good farming Assassin that you have. Berserkers are going to be the prime support choice here, so if you have both a properly leveled Hijikata and MHXA, put them in your All and Berserker slots. The All slot should get the 3-star Gacha CE, and the Zerk slot should get the 4-star Gacha CE. If you have only Hijikata or MHXA and not the other, or neither for some of you, throw in Nobu or Emiya into All, whoever you don't already have in your Archer slot. Only use Cha-Cha as a support servant if she's your only option. Compared to both Hijikata and MHXA, Cha-Cha is pretty potato. Also remember that when Conquest draws to a close and post-Conquest is about to begin, your support list may have to change a bit depending on how much the people on your friends list have farmed and what the epilogue nodes may require. So, pay attention to those once the epilogue nodes open and revise your support list accordingly. And that's it. Hopefully that was a short and sweet little video for those of you looking to top off on what you should know going into Guda 2 tonight. Special thanks go to Gotcha from Farmville for compiling the information I've used in this video. He's the same guy who gathered info for the video that I made on Halloween 2 back in the day. Thanks for watching, and good luck in Guda 2 later tonight.